Okay, so we're ready to go now. So I'm going to hit record. There we go. All right. So sorry for the technical trouble. We are super excited. I'm Dr. Lazar at Lazar Spinal Care. I've got my great friend, Dr. Keith Sarver, and we really love the contribution that he has made to our practice, to our family, to the lives of the people in our community and on our team. Super excited to have him on. And we're talking today about thyroid health because it's a really big deal. I mean, energy levels that people have are declining. People are stressed. They're not offering their best selves to their impact and their families and themselves and their relationships. And so we see it over and over again. The people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They can't get out of bed in the morning. They get home from work and just want to crash. They don't want to spend time with their families. Well, they want to spend time with their families, but they don't have enough energy to do it, and they need to nap, and they've got the brain fog, and they can't lose weight, and all these things. And a lot of them have gone to their primary care provider and have had lab work done and have been told that their lab work is normal. Yet they know that something is going on. So, Dr. Sarver, thank you for joining this Facebook Live with me. And I wanted to have this conversation, and then I wanted to also invite people watching to register for your live in-office workshop coming up Monday evening. So stay tuned for that. But Dr. Sarver, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, what is going on with the number of people that continue to just be exhausted no matter how much they sleep? What is it that you're finding with this, and why are we seeing more and more of this? So let's see. It looks like we may have lost Dr. Sarver there. Okay, so the idea of the thyroid function is that if the thyroid is overactive, it's going to make it so that our metabolism is higher, we're thin. We're gonna actually do this in person. So give me 1 second. We're having some technical trouble, so Dr. Sarver is going to join us in person here. And here we go. You get to see my awesome desk here. So there's Dr. Sarver, and this is great. It's actually better in person. So let's do that. Wonderful. All right. Boy, that's kind of blurry, isn't it? I don't think that's you. I think that's my camera. All right. So let's just check here. There we go. Let's try that. Okay, we are in business, my friend. All right, so what is it that we're seeing with the increase in people being exhausted all the time?
Thyroid issues are really prevalent in our society. We have a lot of folks that have been told that their labs are normal, but they're still experiencing a lot of lethargy, a lot of energy issues any time of the day. And what we're looking at with the functional labs are different range values. So what we're looking at is what we need to do to keep that thyroid active like it was when our patients were young and before they get to that medication need.
Interesting. So when they're told their lab work is normal, it just means that it's not bad enough to be in a disease state?
Correct.
Is that kind of what you're, okay, so does that mean it's not normal, or it just doesn't cross the threshold of bad enough?
Doesn't cross the threshold of being bad enough to be told that their thyroid is underactive or hypoactive, as they call it.
Okay.
So then at that point, they will say, well, you need a medication.
Okay.
By that point, they're probably outside of the range of most of the functional norms of 2 times where they should be.
Interesting.
So yeah, they're really starting to notice it at that point by the time they need the medication. But we're noticing patients that are experiencing lethargy, they're experiencing weight gain, hair loss, outer third of their eyebrows thinning, foggy brain issues. All those are symptoms that come and go, and sometimes they're all one big cascade that these patients are experiencing, and they get extremely frustrated. Then they resort to the diet soft drinks, or they resort to the bees and the 5-hour energies, which are really unhealthy because they're synthetic bees and other stimulants.
You're talking about vitamin B.
Exactly.
So people know that they're feeling exhausted and they're trying to artificially change that so they can have the energy to get through the day.
That's right.
Okay, interesting. And so you're not looking at it as something that, okay, so traditional Western medicine is going to look at it and say, if it crosses this line, your lab values cross this line, then you're going to need medication to do the work that your thyroid's not doing.
That's correct.
Okay. And you're saying, if I'm understanding correctly, why would we wait until it's so bad that you need medication and need an intervention? What if we can find early that it's headed that direction and support it so that it never gets there?
That's right.
Is that right? Okay.
Exactly.
So how do you determine that?
Well, we do labs, and then we do an in-office exam to see what things in their environment, what things in their food sources, or what their diet looks like, to see if they have sensitivities that are irritating thyroid function.
Okay.
So all of these are barriers to that thyroid function. In addition to their labs being off, we can also say we need to maybe supplement with something that's going to help the thyroid function or help their other bodily systems support the thyroid. So a lot of people don't think of the secondary backups like the pituitary gland, et cetera, that are in that big feedback loop. So we look at the whole picture based on not only the thyroid labs, but the whole gamut of testing that we do.
You know, that's interesting. I'm going to share a story at your workshop Monday night about my wife, Carrie, who was having really severe hypo or low thyroid function symptoms, but her lab work that her MD ordered actually showed hyperthyroidism. And the suggestion that they were going to put her on medication to bring her thyroid function down, but her symptoms were already she couldn't hardly get out of bed. And so through this work, we actually found that the thyroid was not the main culprit, that it was the pituitary gland that wasn't working. And I thought, and then as soon as she got that addressed, within 2 days, she was getting up again before her alarm. I just gave it away. But you have to come Monday night and hear the real story. So, but what would have happened had we given her, it's a rhetorical question, but I think about that. What would have happened had we done what her pathological testing lab work looked for and didn't have the work that you do done to test and see what she needed? And what she needed was support for her pituitary gland. And you guys are able to tell that the pituitary gland was crashed because she was exposed to formaldehyde. And formaldehyde, as you know, but our friends may not know, is often found in diet drinks, diet gums. So formaldehyde is when the body metabolizes or tries to metabolize or break down aspartame, formaldehyde is what's given off. The problem was Carrie wasn't drinking diet drinks. She wasn't chewing diet gum. So she had no aspartame exposure, yet had high formaldehyde exposure. And what was found through the testing that you do was that she was exposed to products that were off-gassing formaldehyde. Well, we had just gotten new carpet. We had just gotten new furniture. And she had just gotten a new car. And so the solution wasn't take all this crap to artificially change your thyroid. It was open the windows. What kind of doctor tells you to open the windows? But it was open the windows. And then through the testing that you do, she was given something to help support her pituitary gland and totally changed it. Unbelievable how powerful this is. So obviously we're very passionate about this. And I want to share more of that story Monday night. But who needs to come? I don't even know if we have seats left, but I'm going to post a link. Who needs to come to the workshop? What does the workshop cost on Monday, and who needs to come?
Workshop is totally free of charge.
Free to them.
Free to them.
Free to
That's
them.
correct.
Okay.
And who needs to come is anybody that's experiencing energy issues, anybody that's experiencing brain fog, anybody that's been struggling with weight loss, can't figure out why they can't lose weight no matter how hard they exercise and what they do with their diet. Anybody that really is confused about their labs with their thyroid and they've been told they need medications and they've been on them and they're not really feeling the way that they thought they should feel. We want anybody that really has questions about thyroid issues or has friends that need thyroid help to come and get educated so they can also help their friends be introduced to the natural care that we do.
That's very cool. So I am frantically trying to figure out how to put the chat link in here. So if you go to lazarspinalcare.com/thyroid, that's where you can register. You can also call the office if you are like stuck in the 1990s and want to talk to a human. We can still do that, and you can call the office and we can do that. You can also text the office at that same number, and we can reserve tickets for you if we have seats. So there's no charge, but registration is required because we have a limited number of seats. And the last question, Dr. Sarver, people that are struggling, exhausted, or here's the thing, what if they're not, but they want to not end up there? Would it still be helpful for them?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what are they going to get? Like, why would they give us an hour to 90 minutes of their life plus drive time? We're asking them to give some of their time, and we're going to give them way more value than they expect. But what can our friends that come join us, what can they expect from us on Monday night?
Well, we're going to be talking about some of the symptoms, some of the early warning signs of thyroid dysfunction. We're going to be talking about foods that support thyroid function. And we're going to be talking about things that stress the thyroid, 5 big factors that I commonly see with thyroid patients that we can just say, okay, we need to modify this, or we need to get rid of this toxin out of your system. All of these things we're going to be discussing in detail when they come in Monday night.
Okay, so I'm going to recap that, and then I would like you to close with a really powerful story that you can think of for somebody that was really struggling. And what I'd like our friends to hear is how is this patient struggling? And then how did you help? And then what is this patient's life like now? So you think through that, and then I'm gonna just say, so Monday night, we are really big on delivering value to you. And the best way we can serve people is by offering you our care. So anytime we do a workshop, we have 2 objectives in mind. For those of you that are looking for a solution that we can help you with, we will always give you an opportunity to come in and get an assessment from one of our workshops. So you can always plan on that. If you're coming to a workshop, we're going to always invite you to come in if it's the right fit for you. And we'll usually make it so that there's an incentive for you to do that from the workshop. So know that. The other thing we're going to do, our other objective is, even if you're not looking for clinical help, in other words, even if you're not looking for Dr. Sarver to test you or go through a corrective program or anything like that, that is perfectly okay with us. We still want to give you information and things that you can use in your life, whether or not you have us help you. So know that's our objective. And then as we wrap this up, I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Sarver, and he'll share a really cool story with you. And then we hope to see you Monday night May 22nd. The workshop starts at 6:15 p.m. here at Lazar Spinal Care in our lobby. We'd ask you to arrive by 6 o'clock so we can have the seating organized and safe, and we can get started right on time. So Dr. Sarver, it's all yours. We'd love to hear a cool story.
Okay. Patient's named Diana, had been struggling with issues with energy for a long, long time. Went and did the normal labs, and they put her on thyroid medication to address an underactive thyroid. So she was going through sleepless nights. She was going through a lot of brain fog, inability to think anytime. She was just really, really frustrated. Came in, got tested, and what we discovered that she has this condition called Hashimoto's disease, which is actually an autoimmune thyroid condition. So what they were doing with her was, they were chasing this rabbit down all these different holes, because as most people know that have had Hashimoto's, or the other end of that spectrum called Graves, is those numbers will swing back and forth a lot over time. So when we looked at her and we identified key things that she could do with her diet, with the chemical toxins that we were able to identify and help her remove from her system, and then getting her on the correct supplemental support, she was able to go back to her endocrinologist and say, hey, these are my new numbers. Can you tell me why they're getting better? And I still have to take this drug. And they're able to say, it doesn't make sense to us, but we need to reduce this. So she went back 3 successive times over a period of 1.5 years. And today she's totally medication free. And she's so much more obviously happy because her energy levels are back to normal. Her diet is on track, and she's really raving about how she can live life to the fullest extent now. To be told that you have to live with it at age 35 is not a good thing. So she's a busy mom, and she's involved in a lot of functions at church and at home with her kids and husband, and she wanted to really turn this around, and thankfully we were able to identify that for her.
Was she getting good results with the medication and just wanted off the medication, or was she taking the medication and still struggling?
She was still struggling with the medication.
Okay.
Because that's the nature of the autoimmune condition, is that you can have maybe some so-so days, but then you'll have days where you're crashing and burning, and you just feel like, what's going on. It's a thyroid storm, they call it. And they say, well, you have, a weak thyroid. They were even talking to her about removing her thyroid eventually if it didn't, take care of the problem. Medication didn't help.
That's another thing, because we have a lot of people that we serve who have had their thyroid surgically removed. Do they need to, like, if a workshop is designed to help people with their thyroid and certain people don't have their thyroid, could they still benefit from the workshop?
Absolutely. Yeah, because what they've been given them a lot of times is a synthetic thyroid substitute, levothyroxine or Synthroid. So synthetic thyroid, and it's really not helping their body with a lot of the other downstream chemical production that their body needs. So their adrenal system is thrown off, their hormones, even affecting bone loss later in life. So a lot of those things we don't think about when we're chasing the symptoms with a drug. But when we get to it holistically and address the cause, then we're really seeing much greater results and longevity of health and happiness.
So people can take a medication that satisfies kind of the lab work changes their doctor's looking for, but nobody's checking the rest of the stuff that would be affected by that.
That's correct.
They're just kind of happy that the lab work looks better and the rest just doesn't get looked at. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay. I didn't know that actually. So that's really cool.
So then they're being shuffled from one doctor to another doctor oftentimes.
That makes a lot of sense. And I see that, I hear of that a lot, and I never really understood why. So that's really fascinating. Well, thank you for sharing your expertise with us. I'm really excited for the workshop Monday. And I think it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to learn myself more what can happen with that.
Good.
All right.
Glad to do it.
Well, we'll see you guys Monday night, and really looking forward to it. LazarSpinalCare.com/thyroid. You'll be hanging with this guy, Dr. Keith Sarver, and we're super grateful. So have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and we can't wait to see you at the workshop. Thanks.